All right, welcome to another Crossroads podcast with Kaz Hustle.
What's going on, man?
What's
Appreciate
up,
you
man?
having me, man.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. Thanks for having me on the Real Ones podcast a while back. That I love your guys' show, man. I need to check them all out. I haven't checked them all out.
Yeah, we it's a work in progress, man. We trucking forward with it. There's a lot that goes behind it that a lot of people don't understand. So I'm sure you understand, you know. But uh but
To
yeah,
an
man.
extent, but you have. I'm just doing the Zoom calls. You guys are running through the Restream
hmm
program and everything, so you guys got a lot more of that figured out than I do.
Yeah, well, I mean it took a minute. We had to talk to, some people who were already doing it and get some of those ideas and learn about the platforms and how to use them and do all the research and then we did, I want to say, somewhere between like 4 and 6 shows before we actually took it live.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just, we were going doing like dry runs, and it would post live on like Facebook and Twitter and stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, we'd look at them and figure out what we was doing right, what we was doing wrong, and then just erase them.
Right.
So technically, there's some other episodes out there.
Floating
They're
in the computer world.
Yeah, they're out there in space, man.
Well, that's
Just
dope. You guys have quite a bit you've done though, actually.
man, yeah, we it's kind of crazy how natural everything is formed. So Melissa Rose, I've been knowing, man, probably 10 to 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I met her a long time ago when I was out doing a bunch of shows,
Right.
and just met her at a venue, and we were both doing a show there. So, we got to know each other, and um, just kind of stayed in contact over the years, and uh, you know, that was pretty much that. And then Bud, I actually met. Man, I guess it's been about 3 years ago now, maybe, that I met
Okay.
Bud, and I met him through a mutual friend, and the mutual friend was like, "Hey, you do music, and he does music, and whatever, whatever." And
Mm-hmm.
and it was actually at the time I was kind of in the middle of a music hiatus. I wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
doing music because I had done it really, really strong from about 2000 all the way up to, I would say about 2015, something like that.
And doing like solo stuff. I see you had like a crew or something, a group.
Yeah. Well, so I had a lot of solo stuff, and then I also had a group that was called the Bastards.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Bastards. They were put together. That group was put together in, I want to say, maybe 2012, 2011, 2012,
Mm-hmm.
and so essentially there was a production team that I worked with, and one of the producers' brothers was another member of the group. And
Mm-hmm.
then there was a girl named Kaniqua, who musically, and her stage name was LA Anime for like live action animation.
Oh,
And
nice.
then it started out, there was another guy named J Mac that was also part of the group. So LA Anime and J Mac, they both worked at a restaurant with one of the producers and the producer's brother. They worked at a Hard Rock Cafe in Atlanta.
Oh, dope.
Yeah,
Nice.
so they all were real close and knew each other, and I mainly knew just the producers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we formed a group, and we put in a whole lot of hard work, and we did a lot of shows. We came out. One of the videos that we came out with was a Transformers song, and that song,
Oh,
I you know that video got a good amount, like over 1 million views, and
nice.
which yeah, it was super
Yeah, breaking a
badass.
million is always like it's a milestone for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the only video I've ever gotten that's broken 1 million. I mean, it was a big deal. There was a guy named Michael Escobar who shot the video, and he was you know, super dope at what he did, and I was friends with him because I had met him a couple years back,
Mhm.
and he said that he wanted to do a video for free, like he just wanted to do a video for us, and so I was
Mhm.
like, all right, well, let's do this song and for this project. So that Transformers song was it was on a project where every song on there was sampled from movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was like an Exorcist song, there was a Transformers song, there was a Friday song, there was man, there was so much other stuff on there, and we collaborated with a producer named Drugs,
Mhm.
and Drugs is a
Nice producer name.
he is a very very well known producer. He's made beats for most of the big people that you've heard of.
In Georgia area?
No, all over the United States. He
Is he
worked.
out in Georgia or no?
I don't know if he's still in Georgia. He was for sure.
Hmm.
But if you was to like Google him, Drugs, the music producer, I mean, he's worked with all the big names, but
Nice.
he co-produced the project, and then we had another group that did the project with us, which was called the Five, and the
Hmm.
Five were like the Dungeonees. They were tied in with like some of the Goody Mob people and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so that was just, I mean, that was just one of the projects. We did a Michael Jackson project where everything was sampled from Michael Jackson.
Nice.
We did an Adele project. Everything was sampled from Adele. Um,
You must
and
like also working with that type of stuff because, I mean, is that what also got you into doing like the theme team eventually?
yeah, so the theme team now, all right, so the theme team was loosely based off of that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because my whole thing was that, all right, if you're not already famous or in the spotlight in some form or fashion, then you want to be able to do something on the marketing side to attach yourself to something bigger than you.
And something that people will like
Right.
and either share it or actually watch it more
Yeah.
and more.
So that's hence the Transformers video. And
Mm-hmm.
when we dropped that video, it was right when a new Transformers movie came out, and we just like pushed shit out of it, and
Right.
it caught on to a point to where like a lot of people listening to it, they thought it was like part of the soundtrack for the new movie.
Nice.
And we wasn't going to say it wasn't, but we couldn't say it was.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's like the unofficial like soundtrack. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And then dubstep was getting really big at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we ended up doing like some dubstep type remixes, and there was a bunch of producers out there that did their own dubstep remixes to the songs that we had and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
nice.
so it
Yeah,
was,
networking,
yeah,
collaborating.
yeah. It was awesome. It was a good time. What's funny is that things didn't end on the greatest note with that
Yeah,
group.
that
And
tends to happen.
yeah, that's a pretty normal thing. So it just so I told myself like, yeah, I'm done with the groups, man. Like I can't do this no more. Um,
Yeah,
you
always
know,
got to have something going on that you can rely on yourself.
yeah, because it's hard to depend on other people, and that's part of the reason that like I taught myself how to produce, and I taught myself how to do video and editing, and it's just so I don't
Nice.
have to depend on other people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And if you have like that type of mind or the passion or drive to like learn it, it's pretty easy to learn things nowadays with just YouTube or Google or just experimenting using programs yourself.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it takes time. If you want to do it bad enough, you'll learn how to do it. But
So when you were with them, you were not doing much of the producing of music,
I wasn't producing it at all.
just rapping.
Yeah, rapping and
Nice.
writing. I wrote my stuff. I wrote a lot of stuff for the female artists in the group
Mm,
as well. So that was interesting, and that was fun. To be able to write something and then have her like execute it.
right.
Uh, it was really cool. And the production team I worked with, I mean, they're badass. I mean, they are still very, very awesome, and they're actually um, part of this. There's like a national beat battle uh, type thing that goes on, and I can't remember the name of it. But anyways, it's every like these cities have their teams that they put together around the
Hmm.
United States,
Interesting.
and I think it's like National Beat Battle Association or something like that. But
Okay.
it for Georgia, they're actually on that team. So they
Oh, that's
they
cool.
were doing it online, and they would have they would go against somebody down in Texas, or they would go against somebody in Florida, or whatever else. So
Nice.
it's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get better at. All of that myself with the networking and just establishing those connections in different regions
hmm
and how it is being independent and underground, not part of like any major industry network. Just kind of have to build it yourself. And I think what
yeah.
you guys got going on out there, I like seeing you guys work as a team.
Yeah, That's what was so funny about it, because I said I'd never work with a group again. But this, but
I
it's,
know how it is too.
but this is different though, because their work ethic matches mine,
Hmm.
and that's just always kind of been an issue with me, is just the whole work ethic, and the amount of work, or the percentage of work that you're putting into towards a goal.
Hmm.
And I mean, the theme team remix, the whole thing about it was both me and Bud produce, both me and Bud are artists.
Hmm.
And we wanted to be able to create something to get our name out there, and be able to show people like, hey, this is what we can do.
Hmm.
And so we're able to connect with people in a certain way, by taking the theme songs from movies and TV shows that people know and can relate to. And so it kind of builds this niche to a degree. And then we started recording actual, like real songs to some of the remixes, and
Hmm.
we've put out a few videos, and that's done good. And they've helped start creating a base for us, like a
Yeah.
foundation.
Yeah, dude, for sure. And it's cool to see how, like you said, some of them will be like instrumental remixes. And it's interesting to see which ones I would imagine kind of naturally take off,
Mm,
among in the algorithm, where it's like, oh, yeah, this one just fed into the algorithm. And then this one, you know,
right.
because it's just like you seem to be a business savvy with the marketing and like your analytics, and you seem like the type that pays attention to what's working and what's not working.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, every day. It's just kind of part of a routine now. I mean, that's one of the things that I got into real tough when I had the group prior,
Mhm.
some years back. And I just, because at the end of the day, we had opportunities to sit in front of labels, but those opportunities didn't come unless we already had most of the work already done.
Right.
They want to see that you already got numbers and following and blah blah blah, all that stuff. You know, but one of the things, to be honest with you, that frustrated me, and kind of made me step back for some years was, you know, you spend years putting in time, putting in dedication, creating music, doing 2 or 3 shows a week,
Mhm.
getting all these thousands of followers, and millions of views. And then you turn around and you see somebody who's a nobody, who's never done anything, and these labels sign them like that.
Yeah. And
And it's just like, what the fuck are we even doing this for?
I
You
know, and
know?
a lot of times they might, I don't know, I always wonder about that and what the situation is, what the scenario is, if it's as good as it appears, or if there's a lot more control.
It is. It's not as good as it appears. I mean, those people who are nobodies who get signed and then they come out with a big single and stuff, they never last.
Right. Yeah, it's just
You
like a
know.
fireball explosion and then
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just. I guess that's the down part of that, but I mean, it still only takes one. I mean, if you made a name for yourself, even for a little bit, even for 6 months,
Mhm.
you should be able to kind of run off of that and opening up other opportunities and stuff like that. But now, nowadays, man, I wouldn't touch a label, dude. I mean, I don't want
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's kind of been the old like age old tale of like, yeah, dude, don't sell your soul to the labels. They're just going to take you and like chew you up and spit you out.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's just they're damn near obsolete. Just
Right. You can
because.
do everything yourself
Hmm.
nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, you can get your music on all these platforms. I mean, the only thing right now that's still tough to do is really just get your music on the radio stations.
Right, yeah.
Um, you
And
know,
again, it's always one of those things where you can always, and this is age old too, where it's like you can always pay Ola, where it's like, yo, you can, these companies will definitely take your money and
yeah,
then push you out there.
right.
But, again comes that whole, I don't know, where when you put more thought into the marketing, like you say, like you seem to think like, how can we do something that's gonna organically, reach people as well?
And that's my big thing. Like with what we're doing now, whether it's with like the theme team, or the Real Ones podcast that we started recently. I don't care to play into just the numbers game.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be genuine. I really want genuine people to find and listen and like and become a fan of it. Whether it's the music or the podcast or whatever. I don't want to. I have no desire to pay someone to go. Yeah, we'll get you 10,000
Inflate
views
your,
and
yeah, you probably get, I get those all the time in like Instagram. They're like, pay to get 10,000 followers or
oh my god,
something,
dude,
and
it's
I'll be like,
constant.
and it'll be like some weird account that has like maybe 100. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
God,
not
dude,
even.
these are just
They're
phishing
annoying.
scams. Oh, for sure. And it sucks
Yeah,
that the social medias have even kind of come to that point because
yeah,
it really kind of washes the market. And
it's a headache for sure. I mean, right now, we're still with the podcast stuff. We're still learning. Um, because this is the first podcast that any of us have done. So, as we're going, we're just learning more about what it takes. And I think with podcasts, like anything else, it's longevity.
mhm.
Um, most of the people who start podcasts statistically don't last very long at all. I mean, if you make it through a year, you're doing better than like 80% of people who start podcasts.
I
You
bet. And
know,
it's actually not easy to continuing even in the first, in the beginning,
hmm
you know.
yeah,
Just because
yeah.
you're like, I don't know, it's just weird to get used to. How's it been for you so far? How long have you been doing the podcast?
We're on episode. We just did episode 14, and we do two a week, so
Hmm.
7 weeks.
7
Um,
weeks. So yeah, like just a couple months, huh?
yep, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, you're
So,
just in a little baby state. Me too. I started basically at about the same time as you.
mhm.
And I mean, you guys do get some guests on your guys' show too.
Yeah, yeah. We're always trying to reach out and just try to schedule and find guests that make sense for certain stuff and um, hopefully as time goes we'll be able to meet more people that make sense to be on the
Hmm.
show. it's socially not like it used to be. I think that a few years ago we could have just went to certain kinds of events and
Mm.
went out and met people publicly, which is something that, quite frankly, we're just not doing right now.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not like I used to be out and about doing shows all the time, and not anymore. Not these days. And it's the world has been so different in the past 2 years, and it's just changed the game, sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of it's just not the same. So we're trying to utilize the internet, as much as we possibly can, but
Hmm.
it's just you know the most popular podcasts that exist. I would say maybe like 90% of them are people who were already famous before they started the podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bet. And
So
then they're gonna have a listener base because they are already famous.
right, yeah. I mean, it's just
And then
uh,
they
you
just
know
get somebody famous to come on their podcast.
right, because they got those connections and they got agents
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Where we don't have that. But again, I absolutely think it's a longevity thing. You got to show consistency, and you just gotta just keep it moving and uh, improve as much as you can and keep putting out content and keep putting out content. I mean, this is when we started doing this. I mean, this is like the theme team remix stuff.
Hmm.
The conversations we were having was already like, okay, well, the plan is to do this for like 3 years,
Hmm.
and then based off of the fan base that we're able to build off of it in the next 3 years, it should be significant enough that we can then start putting out projects that are original projects, and then
Hmm.
we can actually sell our work. And then we'll,
Right.
we'll at the same time where we can use the podcast as a platform to tell people, hey, look, we're producers, so we can, if you need beats, we can make beats. If you want us to do ads, or if you want us to score a short film, or if you want us to, so we can put those services out there as well,
Right.
for people who might need them, and usually if you're in some sort of business on your own, you got to have some sort of promotional material, whether it's
Hmm.
video or it is music or whatever it is. It kind of goes along with everything, um, you know.
Yeah. Well, I did. So the XX music production. That was
Mhm.
the email I hit you. So what's
Yeah.
XX? Is that like a brand or anything?
So XX, well, to be honest with you, it's kind of it's kind of generic, but it's just and there's a little bit of symbolism behind it as well. But when I had started producing, I actually, the first couple of years, I didn't really tell any people, like, unless you were close to me, I wasn't telling people that I was like, working on this craft and trying to hone in on this skill. And
Hmm.
so once I got to a point where it's like, okay, well, now people are hearing it and they're wanting to pay me for this.
Hmm.
And so I was like, all right, well, I need to come up with a name and all this other stuff. And it was just something that I thought of. It's not a whole lot to it, but it's just a name that I came up with that wasn't being used and just
For you to
ran with it.
produce music under
Yeah,
that name?
but
Oh, okay, cool.
but but to be honest with you, I mean that whole thing has shifted gears now,
Hmm.
because Theme Team Remix is essentially a production company.
Right.
So now all of the production that I'm doing, whether it's music production or video production, is all under the Theme Team Remix. If there's a project that's coming in and we're making money off of it, then it's going towards our bottom line and what we're doing.
Right. I could
And
see, you
yeah.
know, with Theme Team Remix too, because I was thinking, well, first of all, I had the thoughts where I was like, I don't know if you guys have done this at all yet, but you probably could with the like licensing, since you guys are like remixing, I wonder
Mm.
if you guys would be able to get the licensing clearance, where they'd be like, yeah, we get like 30% of the royalties, but you can go ahead and, make money from it too.
Yeah, I mean that's possible. Even better, and we've talked about this a few times, is creating the brand large enough to where if it gets known, then maybe these people who were doing these movies and stuff like that then can reach out to us, and we can, instead of doing the remix, we're doing the original,
Yeah, definitely.
stuff to it. Because I
This
mean,
is just your stepping stone to getting there.
yeah, I mean that would be amazing, to be able to, create the trailer music for something.
Well, I'm sure you could even. Well, I bet you guys could get down that lane, even if it wasn't at first the Hollywood
Hmm.
industry or something. I'm sure that there'd be other independent film people that would be interested as well that have projects that they need scored.
Yeah, yeah, you just got to get in those circles, man. I mean, the good thing is that we are in Atlanta, and a lot of film industry has moved to Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of stuff being shot in Georgia. So, as the world slowly opens back up, I think that we'll for sure make it a point to get out to some of these events, some of these film industry events. I mean, and these independent film events and stuff like that. Because I mean, the more we can get under our belt, and show our work, whether it's, creating a trailer for something, or, um, actually scoring like a short film or whatever the case may be. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're not fucking Hans Zimmer, you know what I'm saying? We're not,
Right.
we don't have giant orchestras sitting around waiting for us to create something, but
You do
it's
have
just,
like a little orchestra at your fingertips, though, like
yeah,
for
yeah,
producing,
yeah.
and
We,
so much is accessible nowadays with computers. It's insane.
yeah, we make it happen, man. I mean, I mean, a lot of people, got these big, huge, fancy studios, and it's that's cool and everything. But I mean, it's just, it's not, it's knowing how to use what you got. And we're constantly working on every part of what we do, like, from creating the music and learning the programs. Both of us use Logic, and the video editing, I use Final Cut. And so it's constantly learning all these different components. And then at the same time, it's like, all right, well, we're dropping a new remix every 2 weeks. We're doing 2 podcast shows a week. We're actually in the midst of working on a project with original music. We just shot
Nice.
a yeah, we just shot a music video last weekend, and that's what I was working on before I got on here with you. Was working on editing a new music video. So
Nice. By the way, oh, I'm looking forward to that. I just went through all your videos again. But dude, you guys make some rad videos. That
hell
Saw
yeah,
one, that
yeah,
one was like a movie. You guys make like little movies yourselves, you know?
yeah, yeah. That song one was that was a good one, man. That one was fun to
You had a
shoot.
flamethrower?
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, at first I stayed through to the bloopers at the
Oh
end and
yeah,
the little behind
uh-huh.
the scenes,
Right.
and because I was wondering, I was like, they got a real flamethrower out there?
Yeah, yeah. We
Dang.
got a friend who, he buys things off impulse. And he bought this flamethrower, and probably like, a week before we shot that music video. And he was like, "Hey, man, why don't you bring your flamethrower out?" And and he helped us out anyways, because we had to have somebody shoot the scenes that all three of us were in. And then we had another friend of ours playing the victim,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in it. And so it was just, that's another thing that we're constantly working on, is being able to just write out these storylines, and these and just how we want to shoot these videos. And every time we shoot a video, we run into something that we didn't think about. Well,
Oh, right.
we didn't have enough B-roll. Okay, well, let's make sure we shoot a whole bunch of B-roll for the next one. or just having all these different scenes because as the editor, I'm like, man, look, the more material I got, the better because
Yeah.
there's so much I can play with and stuff like that.
And the more
So,
you like change the shots for the viewer, the
yeah,
more they're gonna like stay tuned or not lose
yeah,
interest.
absolutely. So it's a tedious process, and I mean, I want the stuff to look good. So I think we'll probably end up dropping the first single. If I had to guess, I would say maybe around February.
Okay.
Um, we have a song called World War III,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah. You guys been talking about this for a while, I think.
yeah, we've been kind of piecing it together. So
Yeah, World War III nowadays. Geez, the world is so crazy.
I mean, hey, it makes sense.
Yeah, the relevancy of, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so we can put together a cool visual for it, and and market it properly and get it out there, and put
Yeah,
out the
you
little ads
guys.
and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, you guys probably just be working out of home studios
Hmm.
mainly right now. You think, I don't know if you ever even have the goal of one day being in a more like publicly accessible place with studios and a podcast studio or film studio.
Yeah, I
You
mean
think you would ever?
I think it's possible. Right now, it's just one of
Finances.
well, nah, probably one of the only things that's stopping us is the distance that we live from each other.
Oh, right. And that's what
Because
makes it good with your podcast. You can work virtually.
right, you know,
Productions work virtually.
yeah, I mean, being able to send files and stuff is definitely a plus. But they both of them live probably a little over an hour away from me,
Hmm.
and so it's just for us to we would both have to find a place neutral that we could both drive to, and then we'd have to drive there 2 times a week, and it's kind of just it's more of a hassle,
Yeah,
and
true
we
that.
and we have lives outside of that too. So it's like we're maintaining all this entertainment side of stuff, but I still got a wife at home. I still got bills and then a job, and all the other stuff that comes with it. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, you guys
so
are doing good with balancing it all out, especially since you are scheduling. Time management is a skill.
man, tell me about it, man. That's one of my that's always been one of my pet peeves, man. Is time management.
Mm.
People who don't do that well just drive me up the fucking wall, dude.
Yeah. Well, at least it sounds like you're setting goals and that you have like a plan for, you know, like you said something like, oh yeah, we'll see like 3 years or something. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd imagine you'll probably keep producing music and video freelance through your life anyways, huh?
Yeah, I don't see it stopping, unless I just physically can't do it for some reason. I mean,
You must
music,
enjoy it.
yeah, I mean, it's really always been there. I'm from Kansas City,
Mhm.
and I started, pretty much kind of right out of high school. I might have still been in maybe my senior year in high school or something is when I, started getting into the rapping and stuff like that. And, there was people I hung out with that did it. And, it just kind of just went from there, and just, it was something that I just, I did a lot, and learned how to do this and that. And was going to these, different studios and working with these different people up there. But it's a very different atmosphere up there when it comes to rap music than it is down here. I
Mm.
mean, like a world of different. Up there, it was kind of dangerous. There's really no other way to put it.
I
There was
went
this.
to I was at one place out there, like something like the Viper Room or the Riot Room or something like that in
Mhm.
Kansas City, I think.
Yeah,
And that was the only place I'd ever been to on tour that it was like, okay, there's a gun here. We got to get out of here.
Jesus.
So I was like, damn, dude.
Yeah, it's
I guess
man,
it gets dangerous out here.
yeah, it's rough, man. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit, dude. There's no other way to put it. There's a lot of people that genuinely, for whatever reason, they don't want to, they don't want to see other people, succeed
Right.
and or outshine them in some form or fashion. And the biggest rappers in Kansas City, with exception to like Tech Nine.
Right.
But all of the other rappers in Kansas City, they're all tied directly into, the drug game.
Right.
They're tied into the streets, whether it's drugs or guns or whatever it is. So, when as I started rapping more and more and just kind of being around places, that ended up getting me tied into that shit.
Right.
And
It's probably
so,
a pretty messy world.
yeah, it is. A lot of people got their history and, got their past and stuff. And, I was very young, got tied up in a lot of stuff that, I really shouldn't have. And, being around a lot of people that I definitely shouldn't have, looking back at it. But, like I said, it's
Yeah,
just
I've done the same. And
yeah,
then, well, after, yeah, I don't know, you settle down and like find a mate and like have kids. You got kids?
you have a son. I have a 20-year-old son, and actually, he has a son on the way. So
Oh,
I'll be a
nice.
yeah. So I'll be a grandfather
Well,
sometime
congrats.
either the end of April, or the beginning of May.
I have caught that through the podcast,
Yeah,
but I didn't know the details.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's something. I'm not even 40, man. So it's kind of crazy, but I'm okay with it. He waited longer than I did. I had my son when I was 18.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I bet that's. Geez, when I was 18, I was just so out of control.
yeah, I was still out of control. I mean, you think having a kid will slow your ass down, and it just I don't know, man. It was a lot. It was a lot. It changed the trajectory of my life for sure.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's good that you did the deed, you know.
yeah, I
Raising a
mean,
kiddo.
yeah, it's been tough. I moved when I moved down to Atlanta. There was a lot going on. Uh, there was some. I really had to get out of there.
Mhm.
There was just there's just
Oh,
a
you're
lot of
from there.
yeah
Yeah.
from
When I think
Kansas
about
City.
my
Yeah,
hometown and stuff, I'm like, dude, I had to get out because I was just like, if I would have stuck around,
yeah.
no good was gonna come out of it, you know.
What's your hometown? Where are you from?
Great Falls, Montana.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, I just live outside of Helena, Montana, the capital.
okay.
Um, but yeah, it's just partying and riffraff. You get caught up with people, and then it's
Hmm.
just hard to get out of it when you're there.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, it's weird that I go visit home. I try to at least once or twice a year, and most of the people that I knew are still the exact same. I mean, nothing's changed. They're still doing the same shit with the same people. And there's just I don't know. There's just no growth,
Hmm.
um, and not a whole lot of I don't know worldliness about them. They're just
Mm.
kind of that's where they're at. That's where they're going to stay. That's all they know, and they're okay with that. And I'm okay with that. I mean, hey, live your life and do what you do. But I couldn't do it. There was a lot of tough things about leaving for sure, and I went through a lot of hard times down here too. You
Oh,
know,
I bet. I mean,
but
moving's not easy, and then starting over.
Well, man, what was crazy was, I moved down here and a year had it'd been maybe 6 months, and I moved down here. I got an apartment, and I got furniture. I had a vehicle. I started going to school.
Nice.
Because I was like, I'm gonna get my shit together. And
Yeah, for sure.
man, look, it was probably about 6 months later. I ended up getting pulled over, and I had a gun in the car,
Hmm.
and then I ended up catching a concealed weapon charge, and I went to county jail for like 4 months,
Hmm.
and I lost everything. I
Because
lost
you had
my
just got established.
Yeah, I lost my vehicle, I lost my apartment, I lost my schooling, I lost everything. So,
Mm.
I had when I got out, I literally ended up staying with a guy that I had met in jail.
Hmm.
Um, and I had to, basically hustle my way back all the way back up from I didn't have shit. I mean I didn't
Right.
have nothing when I finally got my first job down here. I remember my commute one way was like 3 hours
Dang.
because I had to wait for a bus, and then I had to get on one bus that took me to another station to get on another bus to go to another station, and then
Hmm.
that was a train station, and that took me to another train station where I had to go get on another train to go back up north, and then I had to walk like half a mile to my job, and I had to do that 4 or 5
Oh,
times a week.
man,
Yeah,
that's dedication.
dude. I mean, I didn't have a choice. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't
true
have a
that.
choice. I lived in a it was a rough little neighborhood, man. I mean, it was a very heavy Hispanic population, and I mean, it was
I'm
a
sure
lot of
they had
gangs.
gangs in there.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
in the big cities, there's always a gang. I'm probably not even just in the big cities. Anywhere you go,
I've been to
there's
some
always
small
people that are like, "Yo,
towns,
this is my territory."
dude. I've been to some small towns that are off the chain, dude.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
like the middle of Kansas.
And it'd be like, "Yo, the cops and everybody."
Hmm.
It's just small towns run on their own kind of. They're
There's nothing
like,
to do, man.
yeah,
It's. I
everybody
mean,
kind of knows what's going on.
yeah. And when there's nothing to do, it's easier to get in trouble. So people are
Yeah,
just
that's for sure.
fighting or doing drugs
Getting
or
lit. Yep,
making babies, pretty
for
much.
sure. Yeah. So what's the Kaz Hustle? Where'd you get the name for that?
Kaz, man. So when I first started rapping, and just rapping with people, basically freestyle and bullshit, and
Mm-hmm.
the in the crowds that I was around, really, I was just the only white dude around. There's no other way to put it. And
Right.
so, the first nickname was like Casper.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so, when I started like getting more into it, I was like, oh, I need like a name or whatever. And so I just shortened it and played with the letters, and just Kaz is Kaz. And then for years, my first name is Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And there's a lot of, so for years and years, everybody just called me Casby, Casby, Casby. I mean, there's probably, hundreds of people back home who have no clue what my real name is,
Right. Yeah.
because I didn't, I went for years and years and years not telling people my real name. Just I guess I saw it as like
Well,
a,
and I think of you as Kaz,
yeah,
just
yeah,
because that's like, yeah, how my first introduction to you was Kaz.
yeah. Hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I mean, that's how a lot of people out there are. I mean, I just saw it as a wall of defense. I didn't want people to get that close.
oh, for sure.
So especially all the dumb shit I was doing, I feel like it probably helped me out.
Oh, definitely.
But
It's always good to have a some sort of alias or moniker, or even like an alter ego where it's like, yo, look,
right,
when I'm just chilling at home,
yeah,
watching TV, I'll be Brandon, but out here on stage, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so it just stuck. And, when I had the former group, we played with the name and the different ideas and stuff like that. And, cause, everybody in the group had like this larger than life stage name. It was like
Hmm.
LA Anime, and you had like X-Man the Professor, and
Nice.
you had like J Mac the Juggernaut, and you had like, what I'm
Oh,
saying.
nice.
So it just, so it was just, and I was just Kaz. you know like, I mean, that's always what it was. So, we played with a bunch of stuff. And, Kaz, hustle just kind of, I guess, stuck, and that's what it was. And then, you know, I don't know. That's just what I guess stick with. I mean, I've thought about just keeping it Kaz, but it's just, I don't know. That's just where it's landed, dude. That's what it is. And that's what a lot of people, at least in the entertainment industry, know me as, anyways. And
Right.
um, you know, I think my real name's kind of boring, so I'll
Yeah,
keep Kaz.
true that. So, I mean, what can people find you under then, mainly? Or what would you prefer them to search for to find you?
Well, man, I guess initially, right now, the most important thing is finding us under the Theme Team Remix.
Mm-hmm.
So on all the platforms, it would be Theme Team Remix, at Theme Team Remix. That's where we're going to do all the music's coming out of, all the production and stuff like that. Of course, the Real Ones podcast, at Real Ones Podcast, REEL, Real Ones Podcast.
Right. Yeah, you
I do
guys
have,
do mainly just focus on, like, films. It's kind
yeah,
of the thing with the Real Ones podcast, huh?
yeah. We wanted to kind of make that bridge connection,
Mm-hmm.
because we're, it's essentially under the same company, but
I like
we,
it. It's good.
yeah, we wanted to make sure that, the people that was following us over here were also aware of this, and it kind of correlated. But I mean, I have a personal Twitter and Instagram. It's just at Kaz Hustle, KAZ Hustle. I get on there every once in a while. I'm usually posting theme team stuff. I
True
mean,
that. Yeah.
but I've had a Facebook page, I guess, for a while now, and it's facebook.com/official Kaz.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Yeah, I'll put all
And
these links down in the description box and
yeah, that's cool. And I mean, music wise, like I said, if you, there's a lot of stuff that if you search for Kaz, or you search for Kaz Hustle, or if you search for one point in time, it was even Kaz B the Hustle King. There's a lot of
nice.
stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there, kind of under those names that just came out, whether it was with the group or just this solo thing over here, over there. But one of these days, to be honest with you, I'll probably end up paying a company to go in and clear and get rid of all that old stuff.
Oh yeah,
Um,
true that.
you know,
I'm in the process of doing similar things where it's like, look, man, I gotta clear out
yeah,
all my shit that's collected on the internet through the last decade or so.
yeah, for sure,
Spent 20
dude.
years on the internet, and it's like, I don't think I want that on there.
Man, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's stuff out there. There's videos on YouTube of me like doing shows in different states and stuff, and just random stuff, and
Right.
I mean, I'd like to one day be able to kind of clean it all up and have all of my stuff that I want people to see in one place. But right now, everything that we're doing is just, it's going to fall under, the theme team, man. That's where it's at. That's where the focus is going to be. That's where it's going to stay. And
That's good.
so, I mean, if you wanted to look up some of the old group stuff, you more than welcome. We did some amazing music. That would be under at well, if you just search the Bastards, but it's spelled a certain way.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
with the
like,
E.
yes, no, it's, well, yeah, with an E, but it's TH underscore
Mm.
BASTERDS. So
Okay.
so TH_BASTERDS, and which if you look that up, all kinds of stuff will pop up, man. I mean, we did a lot of stuff and had a lot of fun, so it's all good music to just check out if you just want to hear some music. But I mean, right now, hey man, just tune into the podcast. We're just having fun. It's we talk about movies, but we also joke around a lot and say a lot of wild stuff, and just
Yeah. Yeah,
there's
you
not
guys
really.
threw me some curveballs. I was like, what the slick legging? I'll never forget that.
Yeah, yeah, man.
But
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's always
you guys
random
are
shit.
funny, I have to say. I'm like, man, it is an entertaining show, and
Well, I appreciate it, man.
I will tune in some more, and I'll try to turn some more people onto it, because, you know, with this independent podcast world, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to tap into all the other independent people that are do this stuff, that are into it, that want to listen to it,
Right.
and that
Yeah.
want to chat. So, yo, thank you for chatting with me.
Yeah, dude. Ain't nothing to it, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you coming on our show. And I mean, you've helped with some of our visuals for Theme Team, and
Yeah, dude.
I know you helped Bud with a music video, and I mean, it's just I think that we'll probably continue to just keep helping each other out. I mean, there's no reason not to. You
For
have certain
sure.
skill sets, and we have certain stuff over here. So any way we can help out, just always reach out, and we'll make it happen. I mean, that's what we do. So
Yeah,
uh,
I definitely have some collaboration ideas in mind, and it would be cool to one day possibly do something with you guys that's like even a theme team remix. And one of my Crossroads things, I've been rebranding with Crossroads, but
mhm.
because it would be cool to make a like a theme team remix style, and even maybe I'll just play like some guitar or something. I don't know, and and I want to try to find that licensing stuff, you know,
Yeah,
where it's like, I don't
yeah.
know, how do we like do this more legit? And I don't fucking.
Man, that's the thing. That's kind of the sacrifice of what we do when it comes to a lot of the theme team stuff is that we know that we're not going to make money off of this stuff that we're going to be doing for the next few years,
Okay.
and we're okay with that. We've already accepted like, hey, we're doing this so we can attract people to us,
You're building
and
your brand and your
yeah,
business.
we just want to show people what we're capable of. This is what we do, and that we can entertain you, and we love to do that. And and then that way, once we decide to put out some original music and stuff or whatever, then it can have more of an effect. Because the biggest mistake that all artists make is that they just put out music and they don't put any thought behind the marketing, the
Mm,
promotions,
yeah.
the goals, the big picture. Like there's all of these different working parts, and it's just so many. There's a lot of good artists out there that just are. They just, man, look, bluntly, they just waste their fucking time, man.
Right.
You have to have a plan.
And I've been that guy too, where it's like, look,
I have too, dude.
where
I
it's
have
like, yo,
too.
I'm just making stuff, but I have to focus more on how am I going to market this to people, what's going to get their attention, or, and you have to start thinking, just, it's kind of that work smart, not hard philosophy again
Yeah,
of,
yeah. It's a lot of working parts, dude. I just, I want to see artists do better, and I just every time, man, I'm just like I see somebody with nothing else and no other purpose, just put something out, and it's just like, man, this is original music. You could be making money off of this. You could be building a fan base with this. There's so much that you could be doing because when you just throw music out there, I mean, it's not going to do anything, and it doesn't,
right?
and it really doesn't matter how good it is, because it's this music
Yeah, you could have a
industry.
shit song and get picked up by a label, and they'll be like, dude, we'll make this song a hit.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
will hate to hear it in their heads, but they'll
right.
get stuck in there, or
hmm Yeah, exactly. And then you'll have people who are amazing artists that just randomly throw music out there and then wonder why they had never made it.
Yeah,
You
and it's
know,
that marketing stuff. Well, you're
yeah,
doing great, bro. Props.
they
You
I
guys are
appreciate
getting
it.
better too. I've just been paying attention through the little bit of time you guys have been doing it, and I've seen the progression. So I can only imagine after a year. So we'll just try to maybe we'll do this again sometime. Like I can like follow up with you on just things, or when you guys got another project dropping.
Yeah,
Then we'll just do a little
yeah.
promo.
I mean, right now we're just, like I said, the podcast twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, and every other week we're dropping new remixes. And in the background right now, we're working on all original material and songs and stuff. So, when that time rolls back around, we'll reconvene, and man, I'd love to come back on, and we'll have you back on the show sometime to, just to hang out with us and talk about some crazy shit.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, it's fun. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
dude. I look forward to it. I'll stay connected, and I'll try to work some projects out between us all in the next, coming
man. Look,
months.
before we jump off of here, man, I think that something that would be really awesome to do that we could collab on is, I know that you're able to do like animation,
Hmm.
and we could potentially work, if we could work on putting together some sort of animated show of some sorts. Man, I mean, that would be awesome to me. I mean, we could collaborate on the music, and we could collaborate on writing out the storylines, and shoot, man. I mean, we could even have a theme team. It could be called the theme team, because it's like, I mean, it sounds like a team of superheroes or some shit.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, there's so many ways to attack it, but I know that Bud really wants to get into writing short skits and stuff like that, and I think that would go hand in hand with, if the effort was put into maybe creating episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know everything, of course, that goes into the animation process. But if there's some way that we can make something happen, dude, I would love to add that to our repertoire. What we're
Yeah, for
doing,
sure.
and then we could collaborate on it, and shoot, just make it as dope as possible, and that might be something that we could get on some sort of independent channels, or reaching out to some of these uh, you know streaming platforms that are out there, to be able to put some sort of cartoon or something together. I mean,
Yeah, dude.
that would be badass, dude.
Yeah, I definitely want to get more into the cartoons. I've just been doing it in the past like year or two,
Hmm.
and but then one thing I am working on is hopefully in the next year or so I can get a little bit more of an establishment going on, where I can get some more a team of people
Yeah,
to help with the animating and the designing,
right.
where it's like uh, just because of time and
Yeah,
the length of time it takes to do things. But I'm definitely game for it, bro. I think if we just communicate and work on it, we can make it
yeah.
happen.
I mean, I just when you get a chance, just hit me up, because I'd like to know. I'd like to know the process, so that way we can help put that team together.
Yeah, and we can
Because
always chat sometime, not recording it. We could still do a virtual chat, and
yeah,
we just won't do it for a podcast, and we can talk about projects and whatnot.
yeah, man, all day.
Well, sweet. Yeah, I'd say definitely around the new year we should talk about that some more.
Okay, yeah, that
Like
sounds good. Yeah,
brainstorm through the next few weeks, and then once this new year comes up, we'll just be like, "Yo, this is an idea."
yeah, yeah, man. Get through the holidays. And speaking of which, man, have a good Christmas.
Yeah,
Have a
you
good New
too.
Year's. Happy holidays. You got to say
Ditto. Happy
now.
holidays. Yeah, it's always so weird as the world changes, but
Yeah,
you
man.
know,
But
I'm pretty old
but
school in my ways, so like
hey, man, it's all good,
I
man.
try to I try to be hip with it nowadays and like tap into the technology and be savvy,
right.
but
It's a lot,
well,
dude.
I think it was a dope conversation, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. And anytime I'll come hang out with you, bro.
Yeah, we'll set another one up for the future, and I'm looking forward to collaborating with you.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good, man.
All right, have a good night.
All right, thank you. You as well.
Later.